Technologies Python programming course. Now, in this movie, we are going to learn about the identifiers of the Python. But before that, I would like you to introduce with the Python shell, which comes with by default with the Python. As soon as you will install, this shell will be installed onto your system. It is known as the idle. This is how you spell it. And you can also do all kind of programming without the need of IDE, but I would again recommend the IDE so you can see how easy it is to work on with this idle. You can print anything, do some calculation directly like 2 plus 2, it will give you a 4, but I would recommend to go mostly on the IDE. As you will type more code, you will learn more. So that's my advice for you. I wanted to make out this series as friendly as possible, yet giving you a very professional training out here. So let's get started. Now, one quick thing I would like to do, I would like to create a new file in this module. So here is a quick trick for that. Press down your control key or command key on your Mac and just drag it a bit, and you can see now you have got a new file. I'll name this file a bit relevantly. So I'll just call it as identifiers.py and click on OK. I'll open up this identifier.py so that our code in hello.py doesn't get disturbed. And what I would like to show you here is a few things. First of all, why we have written this hash bang sign and then USR bin Python. Now the reason behind that is very simple. Python is an interpreted language and you need to define which interpreter to use. In the Windows, we can define the path, but in the Mac and Linux, this is the first line which interpreter reads out and find out that this is my interpreter from which I want to run my file. Now let's talk about what are the identifiers. Identifiers are simply the names, anything. You just name it out. You can name your variables, functions, classes, module, or anything that you use in your language. So for example, x equals to 10. So in this case, x is a identifier, and the syntax of Python is a bit stronger one as compared to other language. You don't need these semicolons. These are not mandatory. Just one line at a time, and this is just a perfect simple code. So if I just say print x and I save it, that's it. You have written successfully a code, and when I run it with the Python run, at the bottom you can see it's just giving out the value of 10 because x contains the value of 10. Now let me give you a few hints how you can define these kinds of name of your variables or classes. You can use anything between a to z, and you can also use small a to z. These are the rules, and I'm going to just put a small hash bang sign because now it is a comment. So at the end I'll just make it a comment, all of these, and so that it doesn't give us these wrong error signs. So I'll just put a hash sign here, and right now for the visibility I'll just move it just like that. You can also use any values from 0 to 9, these characters, and you can also use underscore while defining your variables or identifiers here. So these are all allowed. And there are a few things others. Make sure that you understand that Python is a case sensitive language in the case of identifiers. So if you say something like that, let me first just comment out all of these, and I'm going to just use this one. This is a quick syntax, and how you can do that, just select all of these, press Ctrl and this slash key on your keyboard. You will do it, it will uncomment these. You will do it one more time, it is going to comment out this thing. So let me show you what I was talking about, the identifiers. So if I say, let's say x is having a value of 5, and I say print x. Now this is fine at this time. If I run this, it says 5, but it is case sensitive. So if I say a capital X, so Python gives me an error here that you haven't defined x yet. So make sure that you understand that identifiers are case sensitive. So a small x and a big X are different. Now here are the few quick rules that you can follow up, and you can call them as conventions. So the rule number 1 says that you should always start the class names with an uppercase letter and all other identifiers as lower. So this is the rule number 1. I hate these automatic fill-ups anyways. So, and what's the rule number two says? The rule number two says when you start an identifier with a leading underscore, it indicates by convention that the identifier is going to be private. So if you name something like this underscore x, that means you are going to make this variable as private. You can also sometimes do like this underscore underscore x, and you can see in the prompt it says underscore underscore init. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And the last rule says that if an identifier also ends up with a trailing underscore, the identifier is a language defined special name. So for example, in the third point, if I say that main underscore underscore, that is going to be a language defined special name. And there is also one more thing which I would like to discuss, because you are going to see it quite a lot in lots of Python code. Now it looks something like this, and it says if underscore underscore name, and then we put out a equal sign, double equal, and we say something like this underscore underscore main and underscore underscore, and then a colon sign. Now you'll see this code quite a lot in all of the Python codes. Now, when the Python interpreter reads the source file, it executes all of the code found on it. Now, before executing the code, it will define a few special variables. For example, if Python interpreter is running that module as the main program, it sets the special underscore underscore name variable to have the value of main. Now, I can understand that you might have not got too much out from this last line, but I would just say you will see quite a lot these of lines, just ignore them and we'll talk about them later on. My goal was only to give you a brief idea about the identifiers and give you out a few rules out that you can use. A to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore. I'll just comment them out so that you can have these files.